right, we're on it.
I always have the students, although we are turning right, I always have the students turn a little bit to the left so I can look down the road to see if anybody's coming. If anybody is at that little hill down there where that truck is, or closer, I always have them stop and wait. Got somebody still coming this way. I always have the students start turning at the orange line. Wait until they start straightening out before they give it any more fuel. They need to get up to speed as quickly as possible to avoid impeding any traffic that might be behind us. Straight down the road, I always look at my door mirrors and I save my hood mirrors until I make turns. You should always look at your door mirrors every 10 to 15 seconds to make sure that you are going straight down the road and have the vehicle centered. If the weather's nice and traffic permits, shouldn't go any more than 5 miles an hour under the speed limit. However, if the weather is bad or traffic is heavy, then go ahead and tell the examiner that normally you would only go 5 miles an hour under, but because of whatever conditions there are, that you're going to go just a bit slower. Now, I can look forward and see that there is a turn signal up ahead of us, so I'm aware that that is coming up. I will wait until I get to the turn signal before I take my foot off the fuel a little bit and slow down in case there is a red light or a yellow light. I will look for cross traffic. I don't see any on the opposing side of the railroad track. We have a green light. I still don't see any over there, and I don't see any cross traffic on this side either. We now have a truck over on the other side, and we have cross traffic on this side. If you come into a situation where you're getting a yellow light, if you keep your foot on the pedal and maintain your speed through the yellow light, it's all right most of the time. However, if you have to speed up to get through the yellow light, your examiner will probably tell you you had enough room to slow down. Now we're going into the industrial park, and I always have students start to slow down when I get to these 3 trees. Besides, I want to keep a safe space in between the vehicles in front of us. I turn the turn signals on as soon as I get to those 3 trees, and I want to make sure that by the time I get to this last driveway before the industrial park, I am at 15 miles an hour, no faster. We make all of our turns no faster than 10 miles an hour or 5th gear if you're in a standard. And I always tell the students, start turning as soon as you get to the end of this white line here. It should be no more than 10 miles an hour. I tell them to aim straight for that brown door and to keep that white line just barely in the mirror on the right side of the hood. That way, if they keep it that close, We'll have plenty of room over on the left side of the trailer so that we don't have to worry about whether or not we're going to cross the yellow line. Turn off the turn signal. Speed limit in the industrial park is 30 miles an hour. We're going to make a right-hand turn up here. If you're going to turn right, stay left. If you're going to turn left, stay right. That doesn't mean get all the way over onto the opposing line. That means use a little bit more of the intersection, or use a little bit more of your side of the street if you can. I'll wait till I'm about halfway out in the street, then I'll begin my turn. And I'm going to get back to the curb quickly by leaving my steering wheel turned to the right. I will watch the front trailer tire, and as soon as it has passed that curb, I'll get back over here and then start to straighten out. I get back quickly by keeping my wheel turned to the right. You do not get back to the curb or the right side of the road quickly by using the accelerator. That will pull the trailer forward faster than it is pulling it towards the curb. I always tell students, slow down to the point where they can stop comfortably 3 to 5 feet behind the stop sign. Then if they have to, pull up, just make sure they can see as far down the road as possible. If there's nobody coming, then go ahead and proceed. Pull out halfway into the lane and start turning. Not speed up until you have begun to straighten out. When you're making a turn, always use the mirror of the direction that you're turning, with the exception of the roundabout. We've got a vehicle here, so we are going to stop and let them go. Anytime.
Is it taking us 30?
Pardon?
Is it taking us 30?
Yeah. That's another truck driving school. TDDA. Dang. He's got a pup. During your test, we always give people the right of way. I'm afraid you're going to run into it. Oh my gosh. Yep, there's one of our trucks. I will go halfway out into the street, start my turn, and I will be watching my front trailer tire. And as soon as it gets past the curb, I will turn back quickly and then straighten out. Got another truck up here, so there's no reason to fly up to get to this intersection just to slow down quickly. It looks like we have a truck coming down the street. No, he turned. I always tell the students Stay about this far away from the vehicle in front of you. That way, if they break down, you have enough room so that you can get off behind them, but you don't leave enough room so someone can come in between both of you. Because if that person breaks down, you're no better off than you get up right behind him. Once again, 3 to 5 feet behind the stop sign. Go out here, and just past the yellow line is where I start my turn. Watching front trailer tire on the right side hood mirror, I continue to turn straight, and as soon as I start to straighten out, that is when I begin to speed up. I'm going to do a left-hand turn up here. And the streets are wide enough here that we can wait until the front of the truck is even with the curb on the opposing side of the street. And when it is there, we start our turn. Then start turning back into the curb. Remember to center your truck in the lane that you are in. What I'm going to do here is practice for the roundabout. I'm going to get my tire, front right tire on my truck, right where the gutter meets the street, and I'm going to keep it there all the way around. And if I can do that during the roundabout, then I know I am going to have enough room on the left-hand side. So all I have to do is watch that right side hood mirror and make sure that I have the same amount of distance all the way around. Turn left, stay a little bit to the right. 3 to 5 feet behind. And I'm going to go ahead and move forward. And wait till I get just about to the white line to start the turn. Then I will start steering toward the white line to get the trailer into our lane as quickly as possible. If you start turning back toward this center too soon, then you're going to keep the trailer out into the opposing lane longer. We have a slow trailer up here, so we're going to slow down and match his speed and give him enough space that if something happens to him or in front of him, we have plenty of room to slow down. On the test, we turned left after the railroad tracks. So I always try to be at 20 to 25 miles an hour before the railroad tracks. Whatever speed I'm at, I will maintain that across the railroad tracks. But the reason I go that slow is to give me a head start on slowing down to make my turn. right in front of the corner, there is a yellow line. That's where we will begin our turn. When the front of our truck is even with that yellow line, we don't want to stop here because we don't want to stop in front of and block a driveway or another street. We have traffic coming towards us. And as soon as the front end of the truck is at that yellow line, begin your turn. As soon as the right front tire gets past the curb, start turning right back towards the curb. Not right up next to it, but towards it. We're going to slow down a little bit to give this truck ahead of us an opportunity to go ahead and make this turn up at the top of the hill. The speed limit in the industrial park is 30 miles an hour. You want to make sure that you are at least looking down the tracks to make sure that there are no trains coming. I would suggest telling the examiner that you are looking down the tracks. I would tell the examiner I was looking in my mirrors every 15 to 20 seconds. Because if you only look in your hood mirrors while you're going, if you're only looking in your hood mirrors while you go down the road straight, they can't see you turning your head and looking at the mirrors. So they can count you off for not looking in them. So I would suggest using the door mirrors every 10 to 15 seconds. We're going to turn right up here. But even though I'm in the right-hand lane, I want to go over as far to the left as I can. And as soon as you can, get close to this white line. If I can see the white line from the passenger seat, I always say you're not close enough. I start looking through the trees to see if there's anybody coming. If there is not, I stay close to the white line and I get into this lane. The reason we don't go into that lane to our right is because if we get caught over there with traffic passing us, we can get caught on the shoulder. We don't want to do that. Under normal circumstances, on a right turn, you would get into the right-hand lane. Now, up at the top of the hill, I see that we have a green light. We don't have cross traffic on the opposing street. We now have a car coming up and he looks like he's getting into the turn lane. That is not cross traffic. That car stopped up there is cross traffic. We now have a yellow light. We will always get over into this right-hand lane. We now have cars on both sides of the opposing street, and so we will slow down and come to a stop. Stop 2 to 3 feet before the white line. And we have a green light, so we will go ahead and go. Traffic on the street up here to the right, which may choose to turn in front of us. We have traffic which is turning in front of us. At the top of the hill, we have a red light. We have cross traffic over to the left, and it is going. So we will maintain our speed, then take our foot off the accelerator and cover our brake and slow down. The next intersection, we have people coming up the exit ramp, so we would consider that cross traffic. We have a yellow light, so we're going to stop. Between the industrial park and where we turn for the roundabout is 45 miles an hour. You want to remember that, because if the examiner asks you about a speed limit sign in this section, you want to be able to tell them that it is 45 miles an hour. Only at an intersection do I suggest going faster than the traffic on the right. But once you start going and they start pulling ahead, do not pass them while you are moving, or while they are moving. We have a red light up here. We have cross traffic. Continually look at your mirrors to make sure that you have your vehicle centered. We have a green light at the top of the hill. We are going to take a right either there or at the intersection of the next street so that we go into the roundabout. It depends on what this truck ahead of us can do. My intention is to take a right here. This is a wide sweeping turn, and so we're able to start, well, we're going to go ahead and go down to the next street to take a turn, and we'll do the roundabout this way in a few minutes. Different ways to get to the roundabout, and you never know which way you're going to go when you start the test. You never know which way you're going to go into the roundabout until you get to that point. We're going to go ahead and make a right-hand turn on this street in front of Greyhound. We will wait till we get to the middle of the street and then begin our turn. And I will keep my truck in between the center lane and the one just to its right. the roundabout this way, you take an immediate right and go to the street that turns to the right. You do not go all the way around. We start our turn at this way on that line that is straight, halfway in the middle of the street. We start our turn there. We begin to straighten out and point our truck right at that last parking spot in that parking lot there. When we get to the end of this curb, we turn back towards our side of the street. In a turn like this, if there's no traffic coming across in front of you, maintain your speed all the way through the curve. If there's somebody coming across in front of you, stop and let them go. But once again, get over to the right-hand lane as quickly as possible. Going to take a right-hand turn. This is the other way to get to the roundabout. Once again, this is a wide sweeping turn, so we do not have to wait as long to begin the turn. Stay a little bit to the left. You give yourself as much of an advantage as you can. Because we have so much space in the turn area, I will start my turn right when I get past the curb on this side of the street, and then stay toward the yellow line. Then when I see my tire has gotten past the curb, I will go ahead and begin to straighten out and center the truck. Once again, we don't make turns any faster than 10 miles an hour. I begin my turn here, stay over towards the center of the street, then I watch my tire. When it passes the curb, I center my vehicle. I'm going to make a left-hand turn up here. Now we're turning on from a short, narrow street to a narrow street, so we can't wait until the front end of the truck gets to the curb in order to start our left-hand turn. We have to start sooner, and we don't want to go clear over to the right. So I always suggest that we start the turn at this broken line in our lane. I would suggest taking the roundabout at 5 or 6 miles an hour and no faster. We're not in a race here. So you can see the small white door over to the right in that building. That is what our target is. Pull up until you can't see the curb anymore, and immediately turn and aim your truck to the little white door. Begin to straighten out and get your front right tire on that line in between the gutter and the street, just like you did in the circle. And if you do that, you know you've got enough room over here. Pull out when you get close to the mailbox, then get close to the line again. And as you can see, I'm maintaining the same distance all the way around. I'm not going to turn my wheel. I'm just going to leave it like this. And when we get to this side of the street, put that wheel right back on that line again. We use the same targets coming out because we are turning right. When you get the wheel past this curb, turn immediately toward that last parking spot. When we get past this curb, turn toward the right-hand curb on the street and center. We are going to be making a left-hand turn. Or a right-hand turn, excuse me. We will stop back here to allow that truck to make his turn first. Stop 3 to 5 feet behind the stop sign and look down the street. And if no one is coming, go ahead and begin your turn. We will go until we get right to where the end of that crack meets that line, and we will begin our turn. We will watch the right-hand mirror, and once that wheel gets past the curb, we keep going over toward the curb